जय राधा माधवा जय बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानन्दना जय ब्रज जनरञ्जना जय ब्रज जनरञ्जना जय यशोदानन्दना जय ब्रज जनरञ्जना जय ब्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारी जय कुञ्ज बिहारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुञ्ज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओ हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 जय राधा गोपी जनवल्लभ राधा गोपी जनवल्लभ राधे जय निताय प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंद जी हरि हरि। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च। श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। So continuing our discussion on Gundicha Marjana, the Lord mopped the rooms with his own clothes and he polished the throne with them also. So he used his own clothes and mopped. Later on we'll see very beautifully Srila Prabhupada explains that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu washing the temple with his own clothes signifies firm conviction in the process of devotional service. Prabhupada says. So one must practice Krishna consciousness with firm conviction, like I am chanting, I am hearing, and with firm conviction that this will cleanse my heart and um, take me back to Godhead. In this way, all the rooms were cleansed with the 100 water pots. After the rooms had been cleansed, the minds of the devotees were as clean as the rooms. So thorough cleansing of the rooms, and it is compared to the minds of the devotees. After the rooms had been cleansed, the minds of the devotees were as clean as the room. In we also see that when we live in a place which is clean, it will um, make our consciousness clean. But in a very dirty place, even our thought process will be hampered. And also, cleansing of the rooms is actually compared to the cleansing of the heart. Gundicha Marjanam is actually, physically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is cleansing the uh, uh, the temple, but uh, symbolically, it is cleansing of the heart. Nirmala Shitala Snigdha Karila Mandire Apana Hridaya Yena Dharila Bahire. When the temple was cleansed, it was purified, cool and pleasing, just as if the Lord's own pure mind had appeared. So Lord mind is compared to purified, cool and pleasing, and that's how he cleansed the temple. In other words, our inner consciousness reflects externally. So if our own heart is like quite clean, then we cannot tolerate uncleanliness um, outside. So Mahaprabhu, based on his consciousness, because he could not stand um, uh, the dirt, he cleaned it to such an extent that the external would match his internals, and then he would be satisfied. Sata sata jana jala bhari sarovare ghate sthana nahi ke hakupa jala bhare. Since hundreds of men were engaged in bringing water from the lake, there was no place to stand on the banks. Consequently, someone began to draw water from a well. So everybody was assisting Lord Chaitanya, and everybody was very enthusiastically going to Ganges to get the water. But there was hundreds, so many people that the bank there was no space to stand on a bank. But they were so eager to come fast to Gundicha and clean, so they started taking water from the well. It's mentioned lake, it doesn't mention Ganges, but yeah, the on the banks of the lake there was no place. Hundreds of devotees brought water in the pots, and hundreds took the empty pots away to fill them up again. So again and again there was like rivers of water flowing into the temple. Nityananda Advaita Swarupa Bharati Puri Ihavinu Arasaba Anajala Bhari. With the exception of Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Swarup Damodar, Brahmananda Bharati, and Paramananda Puri, everyone was engaged in filling the water pots and bringing them there. So these five devotees were engaged in cleaning. Along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were cleaning, and everybody else was bringing the water, throwing on the floor, and getting more and getting more. Gate gate the ki kata घाते Bhangigela Satasata gods were broken when people collide new water pot cleaning of Gundicha temple. Jala bhare ghara dhoya, kare hari dhwani, Krishna hari dhwani vina, ara nahi soni. Some people were filling the pots and others were washing the rooms. But everyone was engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and Hari. So they were cleaning, washing the pots and washing the rooms. But the holy name was constantly going on, the name of Krishna and Hari, along with their services. As we discussed last time also, there is external aspect and internal aspect. So a devotee can try in the internal aspect to, as much as possible, continuously remember Lord Krishna along with one service. And actually, that's a sign if Krishna is pleased with us. Once he is pleased with us, we may be cooking, we may be doing something, but the holy name will go on in the mind. And one can desire that. And if one desires that, Krishna may sanction it. Krishna Krishna kahi kare ghatera prarthana. Krishna Krishna kahi kare ghata samarpana. One person begged for a water pot by chanting the holy name Krishna Krishna, and another delivered a pot while chanting Krishna Krishna. So it is described that they would not say anything while service other than Krishna. So they have to call the pot Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So it means throw water here, and Krishna. So like take the water pot back. So in this way, all the communication were through the names of Lord Krishna. Yei kahe Krishna naam haila sanketa sabakam. Whenever anyone had to speak, he did so by uttering the holy name of Krishna. Consequently, the holy name of Krishna became an indication for everyone who wanted something. So that's how they would interact, is Krishna. Prema Veshe Prabhu kahe Krishna Krishna naam ekale Prema Veshe Kare Sata Janera Kam. As Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was vibrating the holy name of Krishna in ecstatic love, he himself was performing the work of hundreds of men. So that shows how enthusiastic he was while cleaning. Um, um, eager, eager while serving, enthusiastic while serving. Like, it's service is something best rendered when the consciousness is that of gratitude, and it's something that while one is doing service, he is so happy that I got an opportunity to render service. Um, and then one performs the service with a lot of enthusiasm. Actually, when we do service out of force, then it is like and it feels like a burden to us, and then we find fault also, and then the consciousness is not so good. But here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so enthusiastic that he was performing the work of hundreds of men by himself. He was like so enthusiastic, and that enthusiasm, actually, when one has the enthusiasm to render service, that spreads around. So among a group of say 5 people, if one person is like very enthusiastic in serving, like running here and there and trying to serve with a lot of enthusiasm, then others who are watching that person, they will also, you will see, increase their enthusiasm and start worshipping. So the enthusiasm actually rubs by, like shoulder to shoulder, it rubs. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so eager, like he was working like hundreds of men, and everybody who was there also became highly enthusiastic to serve. Satahaste karena yena shalana marjana pratijana pasheyai karana shikshana. It appeared as though Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was cleansing and washing with 100 hands. He approached every devotee just to teach him how to work. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, naturally, everything he would do, he would set an example for all of us to follow. Like when he would when he would glorify devotees, he would never criticize. When he would glorify devotees, he would glorify as if he has thousands of mouths. When he would chant the holy name, he would chant as if he has thousands of mouths. And when he would render service, he would render as if hundreds of men are serving. So every aspect of devotional service, he was very, very eager and to teach others. भाला कर्म देखी तारे करे प्रशंसना माने ना मिलिले करे पवित्र भर्त्सना. When he saw someone doing nicely, the Lord praised him. But if he saw that someone was not working to his satisfaction, he immediately chastised that person, not bearing him any grudge. So, praise and criticism, best to be used in Krishna service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would actually physically tell, like if somebody is doing nicely, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would say, "Thank you for your service. Very nicely you clean this, very, very." So he would praise them, those who were doing it very nicely. Basically, praise is a form of encouragement. One of the praise which is not recommended is praise because of envy. Praise because of envy is like um, um, I am not there, I am not able to do, you are able to do, so you are so great. But there is a pain in the heart, I am not able to do. But this praise is like uh, out of gratitude, out of real appreciation within the heart for the other person. And this praise is very wonderful. So he saw someone doing nicely and the Lord praised him. But if he saw that someone was not working to his satisfaction, he immediately chastised that person. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised also, but not bearing him any grudge. So that's a way a chastise one can chastise. You can chastise, but the feeling for chastisement is upliftment. Like my spiritual master says, um, you can scold devotees also. You can become angry at them also. But what is the purpose behind it? The purpose is not, we are hurt or envy, um, or grudge. The purpose is to uplift the other person. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's only mood for while chastising is like they can serve more enthusiastically. They can serve properly. So that's the mood. And not bearing him any grudge. And actually, when we chastise with a grudge in our heart, it becomes an offense. Um, but when we chastise purely, or say something purely for the sake of betterment of the service, um, that is required. Actually, Srila Prabhupada says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is setting his own example. So in that way, criticism and glorification both are required, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. But yeah, uh, all about the intention behind. It's not what we do, it's the intention. That's what makes it good or bad. Tumi bhala kariya cha sikhaha anyere eimata bhala karma se ho ye na kare. And very good example of chastisement is like a mother chastising the children, and she most of the time does not get any reaction if she is not having the grudge, but if purely for the sake of betterment of the child. um, and we can see it like, what's my feeling for the other person I'm chastising? Is my feeling full of love? Am I feeling very happy to see the person? um, do I have a lot of affection for that person? And if you have a lot of affection, and then if you chastise them that, Prabhu, this is not the way things should be done, or it should be they would be so much happy to receive the chastisement, because the chastisement is filled with love. And actually, um, it's not what we say that gets communicated, but it's the intention in the heart that gets communicated. When the intention is of grudge or like dislike, then even if you don't say a word, the other person will know that the other person will avoid us. If we avoid somebody, the other person will avoid us also, and they know. So you don't have to say anything. And that's why sadhu ninda, it is explained in like the first offense to the holy name. Harinam Chintamani says sadhu ninda means feeling displeasure for a Vaishnava. You think of a Vaishnava, and in your heart, you feel like, I don't like this person. And that's an offense. That's blaspheming a devotee who is propagating the holy. That's sadhu ninda. And that's what makes these 10 offenses extremely rare to come out of, because on subtle level, they are so deep rooted. Because think about it, when we think negative about a Vaishnava, the Lord is sitting in their heart and they will have a similar feeling for us. And when a Vaishnava is not happy for us, how can we chant the holy name of the Lord properly? Uh, so it's a matter of not an external act, the offense. It's a matter of purifying our own heart. That's why Shuddhanam is not something that can be attained before purification. But if you love somebody, and then you can actually criticize them very heavily, and they would feel so much love in that criticism. By no means, because our heart is filled for them with love, by no means can you upset that person. Actually, when the chastisement is made for a person whom we love, the other person will feel very bad that they displeased us. So what is the main factor is the love. And like basically what we feel, what's our affection. With grudge, it will be a disaster. Like if you see Srila Prabhupada, because his heart was filled with love for all the devotees, when Prabhupada would say, devotees, you are all rascals, they would feel so much bliss in their heart. Why? Because it was filled with love. With love, anything done is received properly. That's why At that stage, when we are filled with love, you become angry, you chastise, you be natural, whatever you feel, and you never get incriminated by an offense. That's why it is said that one cannot commit an offense at that stage. In a stage of prema, one cannot commit an offense. Or every naam chanted is Shuddha naam, because the consciousness is like that. The consciousness is purified. No question of the element of grudge. And that's what we see even when Mahaprabhu chastised, like in these cases, and also when Bhishma Dev was very angry with Lord Krishna and he was throwing arrows, but he had such love for Lord Krishna, such love. And those arrows were like, it is said, like uh, throwing of flower petals onto the Lord, and the Lord loved it. And Bhishma Dev last prayer is like, I want to see that form of yours with um, like sweating and some pieces of blood coming out of your body, and so enchanting that I just want to remember that form and leave my body. So, because filled with love. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did just that. He chastised, but there was no element of grudge. Um, and that is the way of chastisement. And also, appreciation should not be shallow. Shallow appreciation leads to pride in others, but it should be done only when we really feel about it. And best is if there is a lot of appreciation for a Vaishnav, and then you say, Prabhu, I'm very grateful, but you are actually internally grateful. And then you say that appreciation will actually touch the heart of other person, and that appreciation will make them humble. That appreciation will not bring pride that I am such a great soul, but that appreciation will make them feel that, I'm grateful, I want to do more and more. um, it it's actually conducive for one's Krishna consciousness. But shallow appreciation um, will make others proud. So these are the art of appreciation and chastisement. Tumi bhala kariyacha shikaha anyere ei mata bhala karma se hoye na kare. The Lord would say, you have done well. Please teach this to others so that they may act in the same way. So he's praising them in a way that to me, bhala kari acha. Bhala means very nice job done. Sikaha aniyere. बाकी लोगों को सिखाओ कि ऐसे clean करना है. Teach others that that's how they should also clean. So he's glorifying their act. एक कथा सुनिया सबे संकुचित हना bhala mathe karma kare sabe mana diya. As soon as they heard Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say this, everyone became ashamed. Thus, the devotees began to work with great attention. So, those who were, um, um, everyone became ashamed. Um, um, those who were not doing properly, they became ashamed. Oh, I should do more nicely, because everybody knows that nobody loves us like the Lord. He just meets us and he embraces with tears. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart is fully pure and full of love. That's why, when there is love for the others, they can give their life. So these devotees are ready to surrender their lives at the lotus feet of the Lord because the Lord actually loves them. Then, so it's the love which brings surrender. Artificial surrender is just theoretical. It's like, it's intellectual. Yeah, this is what I should be doing. This is what I should not be doing. But actually, the love attracts. Um, and everybody felt like, I should do with great attention. Henakale Gaudiya Eka Subudhi Sarala Prabhura Charana Yoge Dila Ghata Jala. After everything was thoroughly washed, a Vaishnava from Bengal who was very intelligent and simple. So it is said Subudhi Sarala. Buddhi means intelligent. Subudhi means who was very intelligent and very simple. So who was that? A Gaudiya. Gaudiya basically means Bengali. So One Bengali Vaishnav, Gaudiya means Bengali Vaishnav, who was very simple and very intelligent. Prabhura Charana Yoga, Dila Ghata Jala, came and poured water on the lotus feet of the Lord. And you see that in the picture. One Brahman came and Lord is cleaning enthusiastically like hundreds of men doing work alone. And he came and he poured water onto the Lord because actually the right now the mood is cleaning with the water. Everyone is bringing the pots, hundreds of pots. No place on the banks to get water, so they were bringing from the lakes, from the wells. So in that way, hundreds of pots were coming out, pots were coming in, hundreds of pots were going out, and many were breaking because of such huge number of devotees who are serving, and many were bringing new pots to replace those broken pots and cleaning those, and waters are being like rivers. Waters were flowing everywhere and cleaning was happening. And one very intelligent, because he put the water at the right place, not just on the floor but on the lotus feet of the Lord. That's why. And then he was very simple, so no crookedness in his heart. He just wanted to, he just wanted to drink the water that is washed the foot of Lord Chaitanya. So he was very simple and very intelligent. Sei jallala na apane pana kaila, taha dekhi prabhu ramane dukha rosha haila. The Gaudiya Vaishnav then took that water and drank it himself. So he poured and then he took on the other and started drinking. And actually, um, others would not have guts to do that. And they were very they know what to do, what not to do. But he is mentioned as very simple. He thought, this is what I want. He just went and he washed and took the water and drank. Seeing that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt a little unhappy and was also outwardly angry. Dukha Rosha Haila. Rosha means anger and Dukha means sad. So he was unhappy and he was outwardly angry. यद्यपि गोसाई तारे हन छे संतोषा धर्म संस्थापना लागी बाहिरे महारोषा. Although the Lord was certainly satisfied with him, he became angry externally in order to establish the etiquette of religious principles. So here it is mentioned that the Lord was certainly satisfied with him. So by washing the feet of the Lord becomes very happy actually. So he was very happy, but he came in a mood of a devotee to teach how a devotee should behave. If somebody washes the feet of a devotee, how he should behave. So as a Lord, he was happy, and as a devotee, he was unhappy. Shiksha lagi sarupe daki kahila tahara ei dekha tomhara gaudiya ravyavahara. The Lord then called for Sarup Damodar and told him, just see the behavior of your Bengali Vaishnava. Ei dekha tomhara gaudiya. Gaudiyara Vyavahar. So basically, just see the behavior of your Gaudiya Vaishnava. So this is the Lord called for Sarup Damodar and told him. So Lord did not chastise him directly. And there were many, like Nityananda Prabhu is there, Advaita Charya is there, and there were many. And then there were many, and then there are one second. They were like Advaita, Nityananda Prabhu, Ramananda Roy, there were many. And there are like hundreds of Bengali Vaishnavas. And one of them, simple, very intelligent, was the feet of the Lord. And Lord Chaitanya called only Sarup Damodar and he said, see what your Gaudiya Vaishnava is doing. So there is some purport in the next one. Prabhupada says, first, after two verses, Prabhupada says something on the purport there. Ishvara Mandire Mora Pada Dhoyaila, Seijala Apanila na Pana Kaila. This person from Bengal has washed my feet within the temple of the personality of Godhead. Not only that, but he has done the water also. So here it says this person from Bengal. So it's not that Sarup Damodar Goswami was alone from Bengal. Advaita Acharya from Bengal, Nityananda Prabhu is from Bengal, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is from Bengal. Everybody is from Bengal. All of them. All of them were actually from Navadvip. So there is nothing special as far as concerned from like the place. But Mahaprabhu said, see, and then Mahaprabhu complained to Sarup Damodar, and Mahaprabhu did not chastise him directly because Mahaprabhu has rendered all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas under the care of Sarup Damodar Goswami. Sarup Damodar is actually Lalita Sakhi, and um, mm, and the everybody is under the care of Lalita Sakhi or under the care of Sarup Damodar Goswami, and under direct care of Sarup Damodar Goswami is Rupa Goswami. I mean Rup and Raghunath. Now, externally from Gaur Leela, um, Raghunath Das Goswami was serving directly under Sarup Damodar Goswami. Rupa Goswami was serving in Vrindavan, but eternally Rupa Goswami is directly under Lalita Sakhi. And we know that we are Rupanugas or followers because everyone is a follower of Rupa Goswami. So in that way, everyone is a follower of um, Sarup Damodar Goswami. And if you remember the Mana Siksha, Raghunath Das Goswami says every day try to pray for the mercy of Sarup Damodar Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and Sanatan Goswami. He specifically mentions these three names. So Mahaprabhu did not chastise those under not his direct care. He did not chastise them. And he went through the route of under whom they are serving. He told the person under whom they are serving, not directly, like a Vaishnava etiquette. And another thing is he put everybody, all the Vaishnavas for all time to come, under the care of Sarup Damodar Goswami. And another thing is one should follow Vaishnava etiquette. So washing the feet in a temple of the Lord or bowing down or others is not the right etiquette. It is said that one should not pay obeisances even to spiritual master in the temple hall. In temple hall, because the Lord are standing there, one should pay obeisances only to the Lord. But one may pay obeisances. If one wants to pay obeisances, one can go outside in such a way the Lord is not watching them, then they can pay obeisances. So this person from Bengal has washed my feet within the temple of the personality of Godhead. Not only that, he has drunk the water himself. So this is too much. He didn't only wash, he drank the water that has washed my feet. यही अपराधे मोरा कहाँ हबे गति तुम्हारा गौड़िया करे इतिका भाई जाति I know I now do not know what my destination is because of this offense. Mora kaha habe gati. So this is indeed your Bengali Vaishnava has greatly implicated me. So this shows that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very careful. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unhappy, externally unhappy. And he was discriminative. In a way, he did not say that, yeah, it's okay. Krishna will be pleased. It's okay because you are washing the feet even as a devotee. Krishna will be pleased with you and that's all right. No, he was discriminative that Supreme Lord Krishna is present here or this is his mandir, his temple, and you are washing my feet. So I don't know what my destination is going to be. Now this creates this kind of there is a subtle fear factor also there, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling my destination, I don't know what will be my destination because of this offense. Of course, he's the Lord, but he's showing his own example. So that is also conducive. Um, um, mm, um, Especially not following the Vaishnav etiquette. um, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically told Sanatana Goswami to write the rules and regulations in Bhakti Yoga and write the repercussion of not following the rules and regulations in Bhakti Yoga. And this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to Sanatana Goswami. So he wanted everyone to hear that also. And based on that, Sanatana Goswami wrote Hari Bhakti Vilas, where he mentions like one who does not follow Ekadashi goes to, from scriptures, goes to this hell, and one who does not fast till midnight on Ekadashi gets this reaction, one who, and lot of fear factor are there in Hari Bhakti Vilas. And that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to Sanatana Goswami to write such a literature, just because he wanted to emphasize that these principles of devotional service must be performed. There is no exception. Fasting on Ekadashi, fasting on festivals must be performed. So he wanted to emphasize that. But then also at a very advanced stage of devotional service, they become irrelevant. I mean, they become not so important. So there is Vidhi Marg and there is Raganuga Marg, Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti, one is not fearful about the scriptures, rules, and regulations. One may break the rules and regulation, he doesn't care because he's so much imbibed with love for Krishna. So at that stage, there is who cares about dharma and adharma. All I care about is I love Krishna even if I go to hell. And that's the consciousness of the gopis, willing to take any sacrifice for pleasing the Lord. But at the stage of Vidhi Marg, one has to take rules and regulations very strictly. And this line is actually representing the Vidhi Marg. Like, I now do not know what my destination is because of this offense, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is setting by his own example. Tomara Gaudiya Kare, Itaka Phai Jati. Indeed, your Bengali Vaishnav has greatly implicated me. So Mahaprabhu's mood is like, this Vaishnav, he has made me kind of suffer, and I have been implicated by this offense. I don't know what will happen, and I did not do anything, but just because I allowed him to do it, I have been implicated. So one has to be careful. So this is a thought process Chaitanya Mahaprabhu setting an example. So it was discriminatory. Discriminatory means, okay, this should be done, this should not be done, and there is discrimination. And then if things happen that should not be done, then we see him visibly unhappy for allowing that thing to happen. Um, on a common context, Prabhupada says one should not allow anybody to touch one's feet. Prabhupada says, otherwise one will be implicated by karma. So all these things, one can be discriminatory or eat the remnants of those who are not pure, and then that also implicates. So one has to be discriminatory there. It is significant that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sarup Damodar Goswami that the Bengali Vaishnava was your Bengali Vaishnava. This means that all Gaudiya Vaishnavas who are followers of Lord Chaitanya are subordinate to Sarup Damodar Goswami. The Parampara system is very strictly observed by Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So, like, he was trying to approach the Lord directly, and the Lord is telling and calling Sarup Damodar Goswami and saying, see what he has done. So Mahaprabhu was very strict that you are not approaching Lord Chaitanya directly. I mean, we approach directly, but at the same time, we approach through the medium of spiritual master and Guru Parampara. So he was kind of directly serving the Lord, and Lord is reciprocating through Guru. So likewise, we directly, we actually directly serve in a way. We chant the holy name of Krishna, we do deity worship, but at the same time, one is following the parampara, the parampara system very strictly, and that is Vaishnav etiquette, and that is very pleasing to the Lord. Like Prabhupada says, one should not bypass one's own spiritual master, Prabhupada says. And another example in Krishna Leela, this comes is Srinivasa Acharya and Ramchandra Puri. So Srinivasa Acharya went into meditation, and then he entered in his Siddha Sarup in Krishna Leela. And Lalita Sakhi asked her, who was Srinivasa Acharya in his Siddha Sarup, to find a lost ring, toe ring, or something like that, or anklet, one of the two, of Srimati Radharani. So it was lost in one of the groves. Groves are like this. It's basically all forest area and grass and various vines and creepers and flowers. So it was lost somewhere in that beautiful kunjas. So Mani Manjari, who is actually Srinivas Acharya, he was searching, and he could not find. And devotees, when they were in anxiety because Srinivas Acharya is not coming back, and they were afraid that whether he is alive or he is not alive anymore. So Ramchandra Puri said, well, let me see where my Guru Maharaj is. And then he was also very spiritually qualified. So he entered in his Siddha Sarup, and then he met Mani Manjari. And he said, Guru Maharaj, everybody is waiting for you. And they were crying, and there is a lot of anxiety. Please come back. And Mani Manjari said, but I have received a service from Lalita Sakhi. I have to find this lost piece of jewel personally belonged to Srimati Radharani. So please help me so we can quickly find it. So both Ramchandra Kaviraj, he was very exalted devotee, Ramchandra Kaviraj, and he was a constant associate of Narottam Das Thakur. And Narottam Das Thakur, actually Ramchandra Kaviraj was disciple of Srinivas Acharya, but the best friend of Narottam Das Thakur. And that's why Narottam Das Thakur, he sings this song and he says, Ramachandra Sangha Mange Narottama Das, because at the last phase of the life of Narottam Das Thakur, Ramchandra Kaviraj went with his Guru, Gurudev, Srinivas Acharya, to back to Vrindavan. So Narottam Das Thakur was feeling all alone and feeling separation. And that's when he wrote this song, Ramachandra Sangha Mange Narottama Das. So they all were, from spiritual world, and they all have their own pastimes of, various pastimes with the Lord. So it so happened that Ramchandra Kaviraj, in his Siddha Sarup, he found the earring of Srimati Radharani. And he did not approach Srimati Radharani and gave her the earring, but he gave it to Mani Manjari. And Mani Manjari gave it to Lalita Sakhi. And Lalita Sakhi gave it to, actually Mani Manjari gave it to Rupa Manjari, Rupa Goswami. And she gave it to Lalita Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi gave it to Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani was very, very pleased with this behavior of Mani Manjari. So she gave him, Radharani gave her, Mani Manjari, a remembrance of what she was eating. And that's what Mani Manjari brought back in the form of Srinivasa Acharya, and he distributed to all the devotees there, and all the devotees were very, very happy. So Srimati Radharani was also very pleased seeing the parampara system was properly followed. And that's what we are going to follow when we go back to Godhead also. Because we are all servants of servants. In a way, we'll be serving under somebody, and under somebody. And that's the eternal system. So the Lord is very pleased. And although that Vaishnava was directly approaching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reciprocated via the medium of Sarup Damodar Goswami. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Vaishnava etiquette makes devotee very attractive. And he says Vaishnava etiquette is like Kantahar. I mean, it's like the ornament of a Vaishnava is the etiquettes. According to rules and regulations, one should not accept obeisances in the temple of the Lord before the deity. If before the deity somebody pays you obeisances, then you have to tell them, no Prabhuji or no Mataji, we'll pay outside. Let's pay obeisances outside. But one should not accept thinking that it's okay. Lord will accept. We don't see that behavior in Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya was like, see what your Bengali Vaishnava has done in the temple of the Lord, because temple means the Lord is to be worshipped. See, it is very common. Like, for example, you know some senior devotees and you're standing with them, and then there is your Guru Maharaj standing. So, as a Vaishnava etiquette, you have to glorify Guru Maharaj because he's senior most. Um, so, yeah, so the highest personality has to be offered respect and has to be the center of attraction. And that pleases everybody, actually, because if you pay obeisances to many devotees in front of Gurudev, then the devotees will be ashamed also, because they know that why are you paying obeisances to me? Guru Maharaj is standing next to you. So it's not a proper etiquette. So likewise, the proper etiquette when Lord Krishna is standing, Srimati Radharani is standing, is pay obeisances to them. So Mahaprabhu was externally very displeased. So no one should accept obeisances in the temple of the Lord before the deity, nor is it proper for a devotee to offer obeisances and touch the feet of spiritual master before the deity. This is considered an offense. So because Srila Prabhupada was, and this is Srila Prabhupada, and he is filled with love for all the devotees, because pure heart. And devotees has such gratitude for him that devotees never cared for who is Lord Krishna. And when they saw Prabhupada, they just offer him obeisances, and Prabhupada would not allow them, but they would pay the obeisances anyway to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was not happy about it. So he is telling here that this is considered an offense. So he's like very strict about it, that don't pay me obeisances in front of the Lord. তবে স্বরূপ গোসাই তারা ঘড়া হাতা দিয়া দেখা মারি পুরীরা bahira Rakhila Lena Lana. At this point, Sarup Damodar Goswami caught the Gaudiya Vaishnav by the neck. So Gardan pakadi inka. And giving him a little push, he ejected him from the Gundicha Puri temple and made him stay outside. So Sarup Damodar Goswami was not happy because Mahaprabhu was upset. So Sarup Damodar Goswami only goal is to serve Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we saw that even though they are all under care of Sarup Damodar Goswami, Sarup Damodar Goswami was unhappy. Similar story was Shiva's Pandit. When his own son died and Mother Malini and others were crying, and they were wailing basically because the son died, and Shiva's Thakur was unhappy, and he said, right now you are seeing the dead face of your son. If you disturb the dance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will see the dead face of your husband also. So do you want to see that? And so I don't want to hear one single noise. Otherwise, you will see my dead face. So that much strict Shiva's Thakur was, because he didn't want to disturb Lord Chaitanya. So Sarup Damodar Goswami, he loves all of them because they are under his care. So he took him by the neck, means, he's also Vaishnava. So he took him by the neck and pushed him. And then he pushed him till he ejected him from the door. He just threw him out of the door. So Sarup Damodar Goswami was like, he showed some strict action. Puna ashi prabhu paya karila vinaya agya aparadha shama karite yaya yuyaya. After Sarup Damodar Goswami returned within the temple, he requested Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to excuse that innocent person. Then Sarup Damodar Goswami was unhappy, but he still had love for that Vaishnava. So because of that love, nobody will feel bad. So he said, he is an innocent person, please excuse him. Innocent by because he was simple. So he was simple means he was not very discriminatory also simultaneously. So he didn't know what is the right thing to do, what is not right thing to do. He was just very much attracted to Lord Chaitanya. And out of his, um, love for the Lord, he wanted to wash the Lord's feet and he drank the water. This is just his love for the Lord. So it was not a proper etiquette, but it's just love for him. So Lord Chaitanya was angry, but Saruda Mother said, he was innocent. He made a mistake, but he was innocent. So he requested Lord Chaitanya to please forgive that person. Tabe Mahaprabhu Ramane Santosha Haila Sarikari Doi Pashe Sabare Vasaila. After this incident, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very satisfied. He then asked all the devotees to sit down in two lines on both sides. So, so then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked devotees to sit in two lines. Um, um, and they both said this is another room, basically another part. So Gundicha has many rooms and courtyards. So and they are cleaning one, and then water, I mean, one first face cleansing, second face cleansing, water cleansing with the ceiling and the walls, roofs everywhere, and then go to the next, and then remove all the straws, and then remove the second level of cleansing, and then water, walls, ceilings, and floors, and everything, and then go to the next. So likewise, there was deep cleansing going on. Apane vashiya majhe, apana rahate, trinakakar kota lagile kudaite. The Lord then personally sat down in the middle and picked up all kinds of straws, grains of sand, and dirty things. So this particular section is like quite instructive, because Srila Prabhupada explains whatever the Gundicha Marjanam has happened so far. Srila Prabhupada explains what each and every element means in, and yeah, some very beautiful purports. So kind of the heart of this chapter of Gundicha Marjanam is everything is summarized by Srila Prabhupada in his purports, which is very instructive. But we won't be able to cover this purport today, but we'll just reach to the purport, and then next time we will discuss detail of that. The Lord then personally sat down in the middle and picked up all kinds of straws, grains of sand, and dirty things. So two lines he made, so everybody is standing, and then he went into the middle, and then he started picking all the dirty things. Ke kata kudaya saba ekatra kariba yara alpatara thani pitha pana laiba. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was picking up the straws and grains of sand, he said, I shall gather everyone's collection, and I shall ask whoever has collected less than all the others to pay a fine of sweet cakes and sweet rice. So Mahaprabhu said, he started collecting the dust around him, and they all were standing in the and covering the entire courtyard. And then Mahaprabhu said, whatever you collect, come and show it to me. Whatever you collect, bring 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 it to me. And then I'm going to check everyone's collection, and I'm going to measure everyone's collection. And whoever has collected the minimum, they will be punished. So this is like Mahaprabhu is creating a transcendental competition in order to maximize everyone's service. Okay, so he's not like picking up the person who collected the maximum, but he's picking up the person, okay, who collected the minimum. That person will be punished. And what is the punishment? He has to pay the fine. What is the fine? Sweet cakes and sweet rice for all the devotees. He has to sponsor the feast for all the devotees. And Srila Prabhupada also induced transcendental competition. When somebody would send a letter to Prabhupada saying that, Prabhupada, I distributed 200 Bhagavad Gitas last week, and Prabhupada said, that's very wonderful. I'm very grateful for your service. But see, Hamsa Dutta distributed 800 Bhagavad Gitas. So that should be our standard. And then see, in that temple, the worship is going on. These many offerings are going on every day. That should be our standard. And see, that devotee, he opened a temple there. So we all should try to follow. So in that way, Prabhupada would share others' news to the devotees and inspire them, see what others have done. But the motive is not to create envy in others. The motive is you improve your service. So in that way, competition exists in spiritual world also. Oh, this person is serving Lord Krishna or serving Srimati Radharani in such a nice way. I also want to serve Srimati Radharani like that. I also want to. So that is more of a source of inspiration. So Mahaprabhu said, those who collect minimum have to pay the fine of sweet rice and sweet cakes for everyone. In this way, all the quarters of Gundicha temple were completely cleansed and cleared. All quarters were cool and spotless, like one's cleansed and pacified mind. So, in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through transcendental competition, he cleansed all the temples, quarters, rooms, corridors, hallways, yards, and everything else. And all quarters were cool and spotless, like one's cleansed and pacified mind. When the water from the different rooms were finally let out through the halls, it appeared as if new rivers were rushing out to meet the waters of the ocean. So if you stand at the doorway, the way Mahaprabhu and Esther are cleaning, it's like your knees will be up to water. So much water is rushing out of the courtyards and the rooms, because such deep cleansing was happening. Outside the gateway of the temple, all the roads were also cleansed, and no one could tell exactly how this was done. Um, all the roads were also cleansed, not just the temple hall, but after you go to temple hall or Gundicha, and then roads, stairs, and outside, everything was like fully cleansed. Okay, so this is the last slide. We'll cover this slide and begin next week. In commenting on the cleansing of the Gundicha temple, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as the world leader, was personally giving instruction on how one should receive Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with one's cleansed and pacified heart. In other words, we want, like Lord Krishna came in a dream of Lala Babu, and he told Lala Babu that create a temple in your heart. A temple is a place where Lord Krishna resides. And the goal of Krishna consciousness movement is if the Lord can reside in our heart. And Saraswati Thakur is telling that just like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cleansed the Gundicha temple so that Lord can come, in this way, one has to cleanse the heart before the Lord can appear. We are very eager for Lord to appear, to dance on our tongue, to appear in our heart in the form of various meditations, to for we want our heart to become Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is a place where Lord perform various pastimes, where all the places are there. Vrindavan is everything. So we want our heart to become Vrindavan, and that's the goal of our Krishna consciousness movement. But for that, we have to make our heart clean, um, and and we will see very long purport on how to clean the heart. And Srila Prabhupada also goes in detail on the various impurities in our heart. And just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after cleansing the heart at a gross level, he picked all the big things and he cleaned. Then he told all the devotees to clean again, which looked almost clean. Then he asked devotees to clean again, and the finer dust. So likewise, when they came to Krishna consciousness movement, the first aspect is we stop breaking the regulatory principles. We externally live a very pure life. Externally, like we don't engage in any sinful activities. Don't watch movies. Don't go to restaurants. Um, um, so externally, we live a pure lifestyle. So that is like first phase of cleansing. Like at gross level, we are becoming like our activities are becoming purified, And then the real cleansing starts. And the real cleansing is the subtle impurities in the heart. Um, and when that is thoroughly cleansed, and then very fine particles is cleansed through water, and like deep cleansing, and then it becomes a suitable place for Lord Krishna to appear in our heart. So this is the purport of Saraswati Thakur, that Lord is giving us instruction how one should receive Lord Krishna within one's cleansed and pacified heart. In this age, everyone's heart is specially unclean, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Hriday Antastoi Avadrani. To wash away all dirty things, Prabhupada says, lust and greed, want to get more and want to enjoy. To wash away all dirty things accumulated within the heart, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised everyone to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to clean that heart. And we will go to the little more detail of subtle impurities within the heart, the weeds within the heart, and discuss about them next time we meet. Now, one quick announcement is next Saturday, we are actually doing so all the devotees, if you wish to come, please come. We may need some services here, some service in our temple while cooking, because we will take prasadam from the temple, so you can help there also. And next week I am not available on Wednesday because one spiritual master, Kalakanta Prabhu, he is coming from Florida, Gainesville. He's actually helping us with the center in Grand Rapids set up center. So he's visitor, so I'll be with him. He's coming on Wednesday for 3 days. So I'll be with him. And then next week, Wednesday, we will resume our discussion. Okay. If any discussion we can take, otherwise that's all from my side for today.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat. At what time, Prabhuji, the ceremony starts?
You mean in the temple?
Oh, temple, Prabhuji, there.
Well, actually, we are making a lot of sweets. So I asked Parameshwari Mataji to make like 300 pieces of sweets. And then I told her that Mataji, we can help you with some things if you need help, but you take the lead on making them. So she said she will let me know the day, probably sometime next day, some evening next day. I don't know when, but I will text, and then whoever is available can come and help.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Any other discussion?
Prabhuji, I have one quick question, Prabhuji, from that, like for Jai Vijay, like for doorkeepers, like in Vaikunta, like I could not be able to understand that pastime, Prabhuji.
So what is the question?
I mean, like for doorkeeper means like they can have ability to stop, right, Prabhuji? So like by stopping, like how come they get cursed?
Yeah, in a way, Prabhupada says they committed an offense also because the 4 sages were pure-hearted, and they were thinking, Jay and Vijay were thinking, these are small boys, and how can they enter into Vaikuntha? And they did not allow them. But actually, no impure soul can actually reach Vaikuntha. And it is said that they don't need to guard. In a way, there is no service because everything is the arrangement of Lord Vishnu, but still everybody does service because of the eagerness to serve. And Srimad Bhagavatam gives an example that Lakshmi Devi takes a cloth and wipe the dust in Vaikuntha, even when there is no dust. There is no dust, but she just wipe because she wants to render some service. So in that way, everybody there renders some service. But Jay and Vijay, it is said that they made a mistake because they were pure-hearted Brahmanas, and they stopped them. Um, Prabhupada said they should not have stopped. Does that answer?
Yes, Prabhuji, for that, in Vaikuntha, everybody can enter based on the purification. Otherwise, nobody can enter, whatever you say, Prabhuji. In that case, there is no need to stop uh, sages or people going to see Lord Vishnu, Prabhuji.
Yes, I mean nobody can go that platform, Mataji, unless one is empowered by the Lord. Like if we think we cannot go there by ourselves, but the sages were so pure that they could go actually. Um, so it is said that Prabhupada says there was mistake of Jai Vijay also, and there was mistake of four Kumaras also because they became angry and they cursed them. Um, um, yeah, it's a particular pastime basically. But Jai Vijay made the mistake because they were inspired by the Lord in their heart to make that mistake. And the reason they were inspired is because they offended Lakshmi Devi. So they were intelligence in a way. Their intelligence was kind of biased in a way to make a mistake. So everything is Lord's arrangement there. So they had to go down because of their offense. Bhagavatam says that. Answers clear?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's clear, Prabhuji.
Okay.
So one more question, Prabhuji, so something like silly question, Prabhuji, for we are all for eternal surveyor of law, but we are all came down, right, Prabhuji? But us, is there any difference between us and um, the people that are serving there, Prabhuji? I mean, so anybody can get however we have, like, so say example for Jai Vijay, how Lord is giving merciful, though Lord is merciful to us, but we are not understanding. Is that right, Prabhuji?
So is your question what is the difference between us and them?
Not exactly that, Prabhuji. Even the example I want to say is we have an examples that in Shrimad Bhagavatam that example for Jai Vijay, even though they offended, God made an arrangement to come back or some plan.
Yes.
In the same way, we are more uh, we did more sinful activity than them. That's why we have whatever God is giving instructions, we are not able to understand.
Did Prabhuji left the meeting?
I think he texted, I think. He's saying that he has internet issue. Maybe he'll join next time. We'll continue next time. Just give me a minute. Let me check that message.
Okay.
Yeah, he mentioned that we'll resume next time. No? He has some issue with internet.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.